It's a long way from a quiet side street in Bennington from the chaos of the airport in Kabul, Afghanistan, in August of 2021, when thousands of Afghans converged on the airport, hoping to get out of their home country before the Taliban forces completed their takeover and overthrew the government established after their last turn in power nearly 20 years before. At the airport, one family was hoping to get one of the flights out of Kabul. Musa Muslim Yar and his wife, Zakia, and their three sons were among them. He had served as a security guard at the U.S. Embassy. But in the tumult at the airport, the two older boys, Mustafa and Nawidullah Muslim Yar, were left behind. It would be 2.5 years before the family was reunited, with the assistance of several people and organizations, which included the U.S. State Department, the United Nations International Organization for Migration, and Vermont's congressional delegation. Also helping were two Vermont-based organizations, the Ethiopian Community Development Council, a Brattleboro-based resettlement agency that brought the Muslim Yars to southern Vermont, and Bennington County Open Arms, a volunteer organization that has helped newly arrived refugees get settled in Bennington County. Brian Dalton, a former State Department official, described how the process for resettling Afghan residents works.
It depends on the exact situation, but in the case here, where you had minor children separated from their family, there was a priority put on cases like that. It's a coordination between the U.S. Department of State, the United Nations International Organization for Migration, and then subcontracted companies handling the logistics in between. And then on the ground, our group of volunteers, together with the Refugee Resettlement Agency, in communication with the congressional offices, making sure that we get this family's case in front of that process, and persistently but patiently keep asking for updates and reminding that whole overwhelmed process that these boys were there. So it was a almost 3-year process, 2.5-year process, from the minute the family got separated at the airport, with the parents constantly telling anybody that would listen that they had been separated from their boys until they connected with somebody who could do something about it.
We had a chance to meet up with the Muslim Yars in Bennington recently on a day when Vermont's Congresswoman Becca Balint also stopped by to hear how things were going for the reunited family.
We are trying to be more independent, and we have to work by ourselves and we solve our own problem by ourselves. Because we are trying to be more independent. So at the beginning it was challenging, difficult. We didn't know no language.
Yes.
We didn't know the places where to buy something,
Right.
where to find jobs. So it was the help of these people in this community that they helped us, that we improved. Right now we're very happy. Everything is going well here. It's somehow good.
We spoke with the Muslim Yars through an interpreter. What was your experience like leaving Kabul? Did you leave in August of 21 during the that period when there was all the evacuations of the airport? Were you part of that exodus from there?
اگر سال 2000 آگوست 2021 از افغانستان آمدیم.
بله.
تجربه تا در قسمت چه رقم است تعریف کنیم.
اینجا که اومدیم
بخش همون تخلیه بدیم.
باش تخلیه که اومدیم خیلی با جگرخونی اومدیم. تخلیه با دل ما نبوده، ما گفتیم صحیح ما رو میبرم. بچه که ما 10 سال وظیفه کردیم، ما گفتیم صحیح درست ما میریم. اومدیم تو گدودی ما برابر شدیم که ما آمدن سر ما تلخ کرده بود.
Yeah, so they were part of August 2021, so during evacuation process, but it was a very bad experience because he is saying I have worked for 10 years with US government, but I couldn't bring my 2 kids on that time, so the period of 2 to 3 years happened very badly here. So yeah, I wasn't part of 2021 in August.
So what was it like adjusting to life here in the U.S.? It's such a different kind of culture than would have been the case in Afghanistan. I mean, how hard was that to kind of get used to a place with a different language and different customs and all that?
میگه از اینجا که آمده اینجا چطور بود این چند سال آشنا شدن با فرهنگ، خود هماهنگ کردن با زبان، فرهنگ، کار، همه چی رقم گذاران کردید؟
روزا سالای اول بگه خیلی مشکلات ها بود تا که از این مردم بلد نبودیم، در فرهنگش بلد نبودیم، زبان مشکل داریم دیگه. حال فعلا خوب هستیم، یعنی بچه های ما نبود دیگه، بدون از ما شاوروز خیلی سخت تر می شد. حالا یا اومد خاطر ما جمع شد که این مردم در فرهنگش بلد شدیم دیگه. زبان خودم که همتون میفهمدم، کار خود خود یاد نگرفتیم، یاد میگیم انشالله مشکل حل نشه. حال خوب هستیم.
So at the beginning it was very difficult for them because they didn't know about the culture, so the language barriers was one of the biggest challenging, and it still exists for him, and he is working independently. He can solve his problem at work, but still he is trying to learn language, so it's something he is dealing with work. There is no any problem, but in some cases it comes difficulty with language. But right now, if you compared to 2 years ago, right now we are very happy and relaxed because it was very challenging because it was a bad experience. We were not happy because our children were not with us, and right now they are here, and right now we are much more happier than 2 years that we have lived here. So it was challenging, but so step by step, day by day, so we solved the problems, and right now we are very happy. Everything is good, and I am trying to learn language and improve my English.
All right. So how did you all wind up in Bennington? I mean, of all places, what led them here? Did they first come to another part of the U.S. and then wound up coming here, or was it kind of a straight process? Once they came to the U.S., they came more or less directly to Bennington.
چه رقم شد که اینجا آمدید بنینگتون آمدین؟ پروسه چه رقم بودن؟ پروسه را تعریف کن برای
ما که
خودت آمدی، دولت آمد؟
نه، ما در کم بودیم، گفت که کجا انتخاب کردی کجا میری. ما بگفت تاکساز انتخاب کرده بودیم. این بنینگتون ما دیگه نامشم نشنیده بودیم. باز قبول نکرد، باز ما رو خودشون دولت خودش اینجا انتقال داد. این بنینگتون برات برو. از اونجا اینجا انتقال داد دیگه خوب هستیم.
So the process of evacuation was like that. The government asked them to select a place, a state that they like to resettle themselves there. So they have selected Texas, but the government, so when they were inside the camp, but the government sent them here. So Bennington, Vermont, he never know about that one. So it's a new state for him. So they sent him to Brattleboro. So he lived there for couple of months, I think days, and then they came here in Bennington. So it was the first city, the new name for him, and he didn't know about that, where Bennington, Vermont is it US or no. So they selected Texas, but the government brought him here, and so right now they are happy. There's no any problem with this city as well. Everything is ready and proper for them.
So now I have a question to these two young gentlemen here. What's it like at MAU? How's high school going?
مکتب چطور است؟ شما چطور است؟
مکتب خوب است، خوش هستیم، از مکتب خوش هستیم، خوب است، درس مرس میخوانیم، یاد داریم، حالا یک ذره زبانش یاد گرفتیم، خوش هستیم ازش.
He is Mustafa. Mustafa is saying, I'm very happy. I'm studying my lessons very hard. I'm learning the language, so it's a happy moment that I'm continuing my education. I'm very happy.
And what about you? How's high school going?
ما که روزای اول که مکتب رفته بودیم نابلد بودیم دیگه، که مردمش نابلد بودیم دیگه. حالا خوب است آشنا شدیم که مردمش این صنفی پیدا کردیم دیگه. حالا از مکتب خوب هستیم، درس یاد میگیریم و زبانش هم کم یاد داریم.
So at the beginning it was a little challenging because we didn't have any classmates. The people, so the place were new for us, but right now we have lots of classmates, so we're learning the language, and so we know a little to talk and to solve our problem in the class with the teacher, and I'm very happy that I can continue my education.
Then we caught up with Congresswoman Balint after her conversation with the Afghan family. All three of the boys, by the way, are now attending local middle and high schools in Bennington.
We owe a debt of gratitude to all the Afghan people that helped our troops, helped Americans who were in Afghanistan, and I think we have a responsibility to make sure that we are taking good care of these families, making sure that they're safe and secure, and in this case, making sure that the families get reunited. It was very difficult for this family not to have all their children together, and so this is a happy day for me.
And what do you think Vermont could be doing in particular? I mean, we hear so much about, our aging population and workforce shortages and all of that.
Yeah.
It would seem like, refugees from countries like Afghanistan would be, part of that solution. Is there more, do you think, that we should be trying to move forward on that front?
Well, I think the real stumbling blocks right now are at the federal level. Certainly we in Vermont, we understand that we have a workforce crisis, as you said. We have a need for people who want to come to Vermont, build a life and work. This is the case that I make in the Judiciary Committee and the Budget Committee that I serve on in the House, that we have a need for people who want to build lives here, and there is certainly no shortage of people who want to take full advantage of what America has to offer. We should be making it possible for people to come here, and I think that there is absolutely room to be able to come to some compromise on this. Right now, we're just at a stalemate for no good reason. It's all politics and not about what is good for the American economy and for our communities.
Senator Bernie Sanders' office also commented on the case involving the new Benningtonians. We are immensely relieved that Mustafa and Nabidullah made it safely to rejoin their family in Vermont, and we look forward to them flourishing in their new community, the statement read. No family should have to go through what they experienced, and yet far too many people are still in similar situations. They showed tremendous resilience over the 2.5 long years it took to be reunited. Welcoming refugees and people from other countries is part and parcel of the American experience. Bringing diversity and new residents not only helps Vermont and our state economy, but in the bigger picture, helps the national one. For the GNAT-TV News Project, I'm Andrew McKeever.